But right before I was cut off, I saw two faces. Officer Colton and the girl. They were whispering together in a police car before the events that night. She warned him about what was going to happen. She was asking to be rescued.
Hello. Assalamualaikum, everybody. I think this will be 2 or 3 episodes more to the final. So let's just continue. Let's try John from Key of John.
So what's this diary page they grabbed?
Oh, we call it the Key of John.
And what's the Key of John?
Who is John?
The key. A document hundreds of years old, stolen by your victims 2 days ago. The document refers to a man called John van Persie, an early 16th century explorer from the Netherlands. He met indigenous cultures all over the world for the first time, gained a lot of knowledge on how the world works.
So was he a witch, or as you call it, a warlock, that sort of thing?
No. But he met many types of people, many spiritual, and gained their trust. They gave him some of their writing to take with him. They knew having it as far away from them as possible would save the true usefulness of their work from being uncovered. He took it back to the old world.
So, you do a spell, incantation, ritual, whatever. You do some stuff on the hill, say some stuff in your house and stuff like that, but what's it all supposed to do?
Well, in this case, the key interprets the part of the game book as originally intended. It imbues the enchanter with newfound windows into the world.
Newfound windows into the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to ask for an explanation for that.
Knowledge, power. Your kind would call them abilities. Powers.
Powers. Like superpowers. Superhero stuff?
Whoa! I want invisibility.
Ability and superpowers. That can be the modus operandi. I think this is the Key of John. This book. Well, I cannot read it. None of it makes sense. Can you guys figure it out? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 8 powers, maybe?
I am not used to such events in my store. As you know, I was working around 3 p.m. They barge in and demand to see my most prized books. I said I didn't know where anything was and to come back later. They insisted I find the books and wouldn't leave until they had them. So they needed them now. I tried to tell them how cluttered everything was in the store, but they didn't believe me. One of them knocked over my card displays, trying to make a point, no doubt. I had had enough of them then, and walked over to the drawer behind the display cabinet, where I found the books that they were after. They snatched it out of my hands, looked it over, and demanded to see my older, original writings as well. They took the document we're talking about, and off they went. I picked up my display of cards and went back behind the counter and finished the day.
Just surprised we didn't get any calls about a robbery at your store that day.
I understand, but it's typically not our way. I tried to stop them. I wanted to give them a fake key, but it just wasn't possible.
Fake key.
Anything else about the key? The Key of John.
I have a lot of books and documents. I'd have to go back to the store to tell you more. I can give you an inventory list if you'd like with descriptions. Hasn't been updated in a while though. Come to think of it, I think last looked at that particular document 30 years ago. But that's not to say it's not exactly as described. No, what was it?
All right, Ruth, come on. What do you know about this thing?
I'm not sure. I must be having a senior moment. Something like a song or a recipe.
A song, a recipe. The kid comes in, asks about 2 specific books he knows you have, and then leaves with this old piece of paper. It could have been an accident, but nothing about this case seems like an accident, and maybe it's another knockoff you sell.
Let's make one thing clear, gentlemen. All of the things I sell in my store are genuine. My store sells and collects heritage articles and other heirlooms dating hundreds of years.
Those magic kits you sell for $10 are genuine.
They bring genuine joy to those that purchase them.
So the stuff you have in the cabinets is real. The expensive stuff.
Of course. And those things aren't for sale.
Would you mind us coming to take a look around? Maybe take some pictures of your inventory.
Yes,
You would mind.
We could probably get a warrant.
I could make an exception.
Great. Tell us what we'll find out about the key.
Genuine things inside her store. The others are
Okay,
fake.
fine. When put together and done on the correct night, the last time moon is in full shadow in October, the spell they tried should work by opening the portal to the spirit world, since the doorway is at its thinnest. This lets the enchanter communicate with the required spirits to activate parts of the 5 branches or pillars of the Leviathan, or the sabbatic goat, as it's known in some circles. These refer to improved or enhanced sense, as you know it. The traditional ones, sight, hearing, smell, touch, breathing. Communication is another. Manipulation of matter, that sort of thing as well. Or it could be a combination, making your existing senses heightened and the ones you don't know you have.
Improved breathing, communication. Okay.
Those are the closest words in our language to describe them, but not as you or I know them. Communication can mean talking across various planes of physical existence and locations, or just harnessing metaphysical world to use it in our world.
Talking with your dead relative.
Anyway,
Anything else happen with this ritual? Lights? Sounds? Fire?
death. It always results in death.
So why do it?
That's the big question, isn't it? Keep in mind, it's not always the enchanter's demise. At least when done properly, it shouldn't be, in theory.
Well, what's this thing called, the spell that they tried?
The Burning Shadows ritual.
The abilities are enhanced to hearing, smell, breathing, etc. Wow, such a powerful ability. Communication, sight, hearing, touch, scent, telekinesis, and other 3 in the bottom. Hey, wait, death? Let's try Craig.
What would your life be like with Alana's father Craig on your own? Just the 2 of you. Have you ever wondered?
I don't know. I suppose we go together pretty well, in a kind of Cleopatra Mark Antony kind of way. Me and my various accolades, his as well. Some things just make sense like that.
Too bad. Life gets in the way, right?
Yes, life. Some things just take time and effort. If it's meant to be, though, it'll happen.
Are you hallucinating, lady? Let's try Alana.
I only met Alana last year when she started dating Brian. We weren't really close friends, but we had been getting closer. We actually had a class together and shared notes. She seemed like she really liked Brian, and I think he liked her. They seemed to get along really well. In terms of our friendship, we liked different things, but still got along. And I think it helped the friendship. So I'm going to miss her.
Really, Heather?
So not much trouble in the neighborhood then, that you know of, while you live there?
No, not much trouble. The neighborhood's pretty good. At least we put on the happy front.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, nothing. Nobody's perfect, and some hide it better than others. I mean, the people's picket fences aren't so white and perfect when you take a closer look.
Seems like you know a lot about the neighborhood and your neighbors.
Well, I'm on the city council, run the book club. I meet a lot of important people in town, and know almost all the neighbors.
Yeah. How did you get on the city council?
You don't know how that works in your position? I was elected.
Did you run against anyone?
No, and that's not the point. Nobody would have beaten me.
How about crime? We don't have a lot of reports of being called out to your particular street, but would you say it's pretty safe?
Oh yeah, very safe. Of course, Alana has had her troubles growing up. Other than that, it's fine.
Troubles with Alana?
Well, mostly kid stuff, delinquency, fights, shoplifting, that sort of stuff.
Fights and shoplifting. Really? Do we have any record of that?
Not that I know of.
She seemed like a normal girl.
Well, I know her father tried to raise her right with his military background, but maybe it's something about this town. It makes kids more tough than city suburbs. Maybe it's how remote we are once you go out 10 miles in any direction.
Actually, in terms of records, we just have the neighborhood crime report dating back the past 50 years. It's squeaky clean. Only 2 break-ins in the 50s where collectibles were stolen with a note, religious, but all the paperwork from before the 90s was scanned in and records weren't really checked for accuracy.
What else?
That's it. Oh, well, actually, we had 1 report of suspicious snooping a year ago.
2 or 3 reports for 6 decades. Really?
Yeah, maybe a glitch in the database? I don't know. I can check again a different way. Maybe it's connected to these power issues we've been having or something else.
A very safe town. Message. Report on October 1955. So old. The story in the game is on 2012. Wow. Larceny. Collectible. Religious. Victim reported awakening to find back door open at 223 First Ave Street. Living room was ransacked and item valued at $22 were missing. Victim suspect suspicious man plus woman seen earlier that day in town. Let's try prison.
Barbaric place. Better than the great public asylums we had to house the mentally troubled, but not by a long feather. And for children, too, essentially. I suppose some were in a rush to be adults. But there were always stories of young people arriving and never to be seen again. Who knows? Likely shuffled out, aged out to prison, but some hopefully to better places. Likely many disappeared in the system. Doesn't take much, I suppose. We can be quite cruel as a society to those mentally unsound or different.
She's describing the fort. Let's try graveyard.
Oh, I don't know why there's such a large graveyard at Fort Corden. Us civilians aren't privileged to such information. Why don't you go ask the government? I'm sure that will be quite fruitful.
Right.
Nothing important, I guess. Let's see what Ruth tells us about Ken.
How do you mean? Ken, not alive? How do you define life and death? You probably see them as finite points with a line in between. My dog, for example, Ken. Well, he's not living as you know it, but he's still with me. Always will be.
Oh, that's her definition of a live Ken. Message. Oh, Captain. No comment. Okay, folks. Time to wrap up for now. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.